Welcome to AdYard. We are part of Team Topaz Energy and Marine, one of the leading oil and gas fabrication companies in the Middle East. We undertake heavy fabrication, oil and gas projects, rig repairs, dry docking, and repair of supply boats and mechanical workshop services. In our business, safety comes first. And to achieve this, we have appointed a team of dedicated and fully trained safety professionals to guide you and ensure that we keep our working environment safe for you and everyone else. Remember, on the job, you will cause no personal accidents, no damage to property, and no damage to the environment. This can be achieved only by discipline and being alert at all times and by following the safe operating procedures of AdYard. This is the only way to save lives, prevent accidents, and resultant damages. At AdYard, you're required to wear personal protective equipment depending on the nature of the job. All personnel entering the yard have to wear safety shoes and hard hats. Once on the job, you have to wear the necessary personal protective equipment like hand gloves, goggles, face shield, fall arresters, face masks, earplugs, depending on the nature of the job. We follow a zero-tolerance policy on the use of PPE, personal protective equipment, while at work. Wearing protective equipment alone does not guarantee safety. You must follow the instructions of your supervisors on how to carry out the job in a safe manner. Do not roll gas cylinders on the floor. Instead, shift them on the trolleys provided for this purpose. Wear protective gloves and goggles for the job. The goggles protect your eyes against sparks, flying bits of metal, and very bright blinding light. Different kinds of goggles and gloves are specified for different kinds of work. Remember, goggles can be replaced, but not your eyes. All the necessary tools, equipment and material have to be laid in a neat and tidy manner. All tools and equipment have to be returned to its place of storage at the end of the shift. Grit blasting uses abrasive material at high pressures, a combination that is dangerous if treated without respect. Special heavy-duty protective clothing must be worn as well as specially designed head and face protection shields. You must use the dead man's handle while grit blasting, as it will shut off completely when released. Painting calls for the use of disposable coveralls and respirator-type masks to protect against inhalation of toxic fumes. Do not leave flammable items such as thinners and solvents lying around, and close paint containers when not in use. And after painting, see that you clean your hands very well before eating. Hurry and shortcuts never get you anywhere, especially when safe working practices are involved. There are proper methods and tools available to do every job, no matter how simple it may seem. Use the correct methods and use the right tools. It will protect you from injuries. But that's not all. You must also practice the safe and proper way to do the job. If you are required to be at a height to do your job, get the proper platforms to do it. And of course, as you can see, wear all necessary protective gear to keep you safe. Do not risk standing on narrow or oily surfaces. Use a proper surface to get a firm, solid base for standing. Lifting is another activity that is often required for most operations at our yard. Pipes and other such objects must be lifted using the proper lifting belts, chains and hooks. You must make sure that all items used for lifting are in good condition and have a valid color code marked on them. Once a pipe is placed in position, they must also be wedged securely to prevent rolling or shifting. Always ensure that all items connected with lifting exceed the ratings for the load being lifted. In order to make sure that all the lifting gear being used is maintained to optimum standards, ADYARD conducts regular inspections and issues a color code. Check the code to be certain that you're using only certified items. When using cranes for lifting, stand in full clear view of the crane operator. He must see you with no obstructions to follow your lifting instructions. Do not walk under the crane jib or boom when it is carrying or swinging a load. There are standard signals for communicating with the crane operator. Familiarize yourself with them and communicate using only these signals. Lifting also involves lifting objects manually. If done the wrong way, it can cause injuries which can be permanent. Do not keep your legs straight and lift with your back like seen here. Instead, bend your knees, keep your back and arms straight. Place feet near the weight and lift. Use your legs to support and push yourself up. The same applies when two people are lifting a heavy object. Working at heights is risky. Always wear a safety harness and follow all regulations without fail. There are strict guidelines to follow when erecting scaffolding. The correct clamps and fittings must be used. All platforms must have handrails and toe boards. The scaffolding pipes must be on a firm base plate and erected properly. The scaffolding must have ladders to go up and down. Remember, come down the same way you went up, facing the ladder. This is certainly a no-no at our yard. Do not throw anything from a height at any time. Tools must be lowered in a proper container. Cordon off and keep away from any areas of work where there is a risk of falling objects, including sparks from hot work like welding or cutting overhead. In order to minimize risks and avoid accidents, ADYARD follows a permit to work system, particularly for work on marine vessels and oil and gas installations. Under no circumstance should anyone do any work without a work permit where it is mandatory. Permit to work systems are used in all oil and gas installations, both onshore and offshore, where ADYARD is contracted to carry out work. Non-compliance with PTW permit to work procedures will lead to disciplinary action. The permit will explain who is working where and the exact nature of work that is to be done. The permit will be issued only after ensuring that all safety precautions have been observed for those working as well as for those around the area. Sometimes it is possible that you may have doubts. Do not make any assumptions. If in doubt, ask your supervisor. In certain conditions, entry to a confined area requires the use of self-contained breathing apparatus, especially when carrying out a rescue or even to check the presence of toxic gases. When there is a possibility of the presence of toxic gases, you have to carry a gas monitor and gas mask. These are mandatory in most oil and gas project sites and have to be complied by all personnel assigned to the project. Working in a live plant can be equally risky. The job could be inside a marine vessel or oil and gas plant. Work permits must be obtained and displayed clearly for other people to see. The no smoking sign must be strictly observed at all locations where flammable materials are stored or used. In the unlikely event of a fire, use fire extinguishers that are provided for such emergencies. There are different kinds of fire extinguishers for different kinds of fires. Familiarize yourself with them. As simple and safe as it looks, pressure testing areas are high-risk areas. Follow the rules and most of all, follow all safety signs displayed at these and other places. When the radioactive sign is displayed, do not go into that area. The safe rule is to follow what is clearly indicated in such areas. If you're asked to keep away, keep away. Forklifts must be driven only by authorized personnel. If a load has to be moved driving backwards, it is compulsory that you have someone guiding you along the path. A work vest must be worn when working on the jetty or on floating vessels. Rope handling is an important aspect of work in such places and you must follow all instructions. A rope, if it snaps under load, can work as a massive whip that can kill you. Follow the prescribed safety measures. Our yard is a busy place with many hundreds working on site at the same time. It is important that proper housekeeping practices are followed. What you're seeing is an example of very bad housekeeping. These are places where accidents are just waiting to happen. Keep pathways clean and clear. Remove all rubbish and unwanted scrap immediately. Use the scrap bins for depositing metal scrap. There are separate rubbish disposal bins available for different kinds of waste. A clean work area is a safe work area. Practice good housekeeping. When you complete a job, put away things in a neat and tidy manner. In spite of all precautions, accidents do happen. If you happen to see an accident, assess the situation and immediately report to your supervisor. Do not attempt to move an injured person. AdYard has trained personnel to look after such emergencies, and should you get a minor injury, inform your supervisor and get to the clinic as fast as possible. If you are required to work outdoors, it is more comfortable to work using a shade. AdYard provides umbrellas for these purposes. All equipment and tools provided are to be maintained and used for the purpose it is intended. During summer, AdYard provides glucose to prevent dehydration, which can lead to heat stroke. Drink plenty of water with or without glucose to replenish the body salts which are lost due to the high heat and humidity. In order to keep you informed and trained, AdYard conducts regular training sessions on various aspects at work. These include subjects such as working with compressed gas, use of fire extinguishers, and so on. Attend them. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Only by following all safety rules and regulations can we ensure a safe working environment for ourselves and our colleagues. AdYard wishes all of you to arrive healthy, work in a safe environment, and return home happy, with no injury to yourself, damage to any property, or to the environment. Remember, your family needs you.